Hi, I'm Ronald, a lawyer, advocate, thinker, writer, speaker, college tutor. In this episode, we'll consider what is copyright. Copyright is a form of intellectual property, an ownership right that's conferred in respect of tangibly expressed works. One of the main aims of copyright is to incentivize creation and dissemination of new works by giving creators the exclusive right to control specific users of their works for a limited period of time. Copyright generally protects the following types of material: literary works, dramatic works, musical works, artistic works, published edition of such works, sound recordings, films, television and radio broadcasts, and cable programs. Now, copyrights are automatic in the sense that there is no need for registration compliance with formalities in order for these rights to apply. They come into force upon the creation of the work. Copyright generally grants the owner exclusive rights to reproduce, publish, perform, communicate, and/or adapt the work. Owners of copyrights are by default the makers of the work, the author or the publisher. Makers would by default own the copyright to commissioned works unless otherwise agreed. However, when a material is created in the course of employment, by default, the owner of the work is the employer of the maker. You should, however, understand that an employee is different from an independent contractor or service provider, or sometimes what is colloquially known as a freelancer. Now, under the law, an owner of copyright is protected from acts which infringe the copyright, including things like dealing commercially with an article that consists of the copyrighted material, or even facilitating access to that. And the owner of the copyright can bring a claim for copyright infringement against the infringing party in court, and remedies for infringement may include getting an injunction, that is, a court order restraining the infringing party from committing further acts, a claim for damages, compensation for losses suffered, or an account of profits, recovery of profits enjoyed by the infringing party, or statutorily prescribed damages. Or an order can be made for the impounding, that is the seizure or the destruction of infringing goods. In addition to copyright, authors also enjoy moral rights, and that would include the right to be identified as the author of the work, or to ensure that other persons are not falsely identified as the author of the work, and also not to be falsely identified as the author of a copy of an artistic work, and not to have an altered copy of the work represented as having been unaltered when published. Generally, moral rights may differ from country to country, jurisdiction to jurisdiction. Copyright protection is generally territorial. However, copyright protection generally extends across countries designated as reciprocating countries, namely parties to the Berne Convention for the Protection of Literary and Artistic Works, as well as members of the World Trade Organization. Now, practically, common practice for authors and publishers to protect copyright would be affixing a copyright notice on their works. You recognize the copyright symbol, a C with a circle around it, and they would state the year of publication and the name of the author. This is not conclusive as to ownership, but will enable the author to rely on legal presumptions that it is the owner of the copyrighted materials. And it's important then to have names clearly stated, affixed on their works and publications. And that is copyright law. Thank you. Be smart, be brief.